Hello everyone, Mark Hansen Audio here. Today we're here with Kontour, a really cool ensemble in Reaktor. As you can see, lots of things are modulating and moving around, and as I start to press play and all these things, you'll start to see lots of different parameters move around all over the place. So the whole idea with Kontour is that you can modulate a large number of things to create this non-static sound. So for example, I'm going to pause some of these. I'm going to look at color 1 up here on this big macro control. And you can see a couple of things are moving. If we click this plus device, we can see it's things labeled in purple are able to be controlled by this modulation up here. So for example, if we want this drive control down here to be modulated, there's a tiny little up and down arrow, hope you can see that. I can click and drag and create this range for modulation. So for example, I can do it on here as well. Here, turn on my gap filter, and now all these things are being modulated by this one control. Really cool. So let's have a look at drama. Now, I like the names for some of these are pretty cool. So click on the plus sign, we can see all the green controls can be modulated by this. So I'm going to try modulating some of these. Click play. We can see a bit of modulation going on here as well. So you can see very quickly you can create some very outrageous sounds, really cool for sound design, which is a big part of what I do. Now you might be wondering, what is this modulation actually based on? Well, it's a very good question. So up here we have two panels, the B panel, which we're currently on, and then the A panel. So if we click on color 1, this is our purple. I'm going to pause this one just now. We've got our purple, you can see our modulation is based on this little region here. We can drag around, or kind of make larger, make smaller. We can change the speed of it, or we can sync it to our host. So I'm going to really cool. We can click on presets to see different preset waveforms that we can use. So let's use swell, for example. Pretty groovy. We can do other stuff with our waveform here. We can offset the waveform. Can scale it. We can put steps in it to essentially give it almost aliased kind of idea. At which point you start to almost create an arpeggiated feel. And you can turn on smoothing and a bit of swing. And down here we can do stuff like basically how the modulation reacts to the key triggers. So currently, if every time I press a key, you can see I'm going back to the beginning. If I turn that off, every time I press a key, it just keeps going. Likewise, you can also do it so it doesn't trigger for legatos or does trigger for legatos. So it's currently I hold a key, and as a legato it re-triggers. Turn that off. And likewise the opposite there. All sorts of crazy stuff. You can also record your own waveforms, which is really cool. So I'll make this nice and large. Up here, there's a record button. You can press that and then move this around as to my heart's desire to do all sorts of whatever I like with it. And click play and I'll play that back. So if I speed that up, I can try re-recording that. And then you can do all your other stuff again, like your steps, your whatever. So you can create a completely unique waveform. So all sorts of cool stuff you can do with this. And down below you have your, these are just your master effects controls, so you have an idea of how they're working. So your filters, your cabinets, your reverbs, whatnot. Cool, so let's go back to the main page. Okay, so there's even more modulation options as well. So we can assign things to be modulated by our input MIDI velocity. So let's, for example, do it on our attack here. So I can set that there. And as my input MIDI velocity changes, that will be based on, that will change the modulation amount on this. You can do for key tracking, you've got pitch bend stuff, modulation wheel, and even aftertouch as well. So you can get crazy even after the original note has been played. I've been having absolutely tons of fun with this ensemble. There just seems to be an endless amount of sound you can make with it, from something very cute and very simple and very musical to stuff like what we're creating today. Like some of the weirdest, scariest sounds ever. So this section down here is also very important, the feedback section. Basically what this plugin can do is it basically feeds back into itself at different stages, and then you can mix that in. So this is the feedback at the comb filter stage. I think this is the feedback at the state variable filter stage, a feedback from all your effects, and then I think this is a separate reverb send after that. So you can basically send the output of your feedback section to the reverb again. Just an absolutely crazy bananas plugin. But I'd say if you look at some of the presets, let's have a look at some of these. We still get very normal sounds out of it, as well as some of the absolutely bananas like soundscapes. Just an amazing ensemble. Very confusing when you first get into it, but it's one of those ones that it's just turning knobs and seeing what happens is one of the joys of it. I'm sure there are very good sound designers who will look at this and will have an idea and will systematically build that idea, and they'll have loads of fun and be very successful doing that. But the joy of experimentation is what sets this plugin apart. Just turn knobs and see what really weird things happen, especially when you combine that with the feedback section, because you'll apply some effects and modulation to something over here, and then suddenly a whole output of everything's going to change once you feed it through the feedback section. So absolutely tons of fun. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little overview. My name's been Mark Antonario. Adios.